Hello everyone, welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. Thank you for coming to my channel. Back at the 12-gallon bookshelf aquarium. This is on the top, or second to the top rack in my fish room. Just so you can remember, help you do some recall there. I filmed this tank not too long ago, but even in that short time, so much can happen in a heavily planted tank. I mean, so much can happen in our fish room in just a short time. Sometimes not good, a lot of times awesome. In this case, I don't know, you tell me. Some of it is clearly awesome and some of it's a bit of a mystery. For example, the last time I filmed this tank, the emergent growth of up here on the bogwood, this wonderful feature with that super thick carpet of moss and various forms of pothos. Well, one of those forms of pothos is going all huge on me, like gargantuan. I mean, these leaves are the size of my hand. I mean, the perspective of this video doesn't show it. So for a relatively, long tank, 12-gallon, I mean, look at the size of those 2-3 leaves right here. And this one is blocking the light, which to some extent does not bother me because I feature primarily low light plants in here. Now, I had some stems of like Rotala in the back, and you can see they've kind of become sticks at the bottom from low light. So my plan for that is to remove those, just literally pull them out. And then I want to put maybe a nice bunch of Bucephalandra, like a Kadang or something with purple or brown leaves. Or, not so much brown, but something a little bit colorful. But whatever I can find at the Greenwater Swap this weekend, sometimes there are sellers there that have literally bunches of Bucephalandra for incredible prices. And I'm thinking of just back where you see that clearing, pulling all the stems, which aren't really doing anything. You see a little Lemonphilia sessiflora back there. If you look carefully through this clown killifish, the crypts in front and my reflection of my hand, and you see those naked sticks. It kind of looks cool because it picks up the concept of all of these roots here, which are also bare. So it doesn't bother me per se, but I'm always trying to play around and tweak. And given I've got all of this red root floaters and duckweed and frogbit up top, and no matter how much I clean that, it comes back so quickly, I'm thinking it might just be wise to put an epiphyte like Anubias or Bucephalandra back there, or nothing. But nothing. You don't go to a swap and buy nothing. So what else? So, and then those big leaves, right? Back to that. Should I snip them? Should they stay or should they go? I mean, they're cool, but they're becoming, first of all, they're out of whack perspective-wise. I mean, everything nature does is pretty cool and kind of badass, but the aquascaper in me is wondering, like, what do you think, truly? I could snip those in the time it takes to snip those, like snip, 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 and then suddenly I've got a lot more light, a lot more air up there, and pothos will grow back anyway. So curious what you might think. Let me know in the comments section. I talked about this before. Those are red root floaters that have literally become emerged growth, this like hedgerow. I think that is so cool, and it's so unusual because I've never seen that with red root floaters. The irony is I'm not getting any red roots from the red root floaters. You get just the slight hint of pink on some of the leaves, and those were put in here as deep magenta red root floaters. And for whatever reason, they're not keeping that color. They're still thriving. Obviously, they just found a different way to thrive, up and over, up and over. Also, check out, I think this is like a Ludwigia, and that's the emergent form, and it's snaking its way through the hardscape that's above the water line. Look, it's all the way over here. I mean, how cool is that? I was at Ocean Design Aquarium, my favorite LFS in Chicago, or one of them anyway, and Tony, the proprietor there, gave me just a couple snippets of this that was growing out of his tank, and I didn't do anything but stick them in this bunch. Below that bunch of red root floaters, there is some bogwood, but honestly, it's just a big, wonderful tangle, and I just stuck those stems in, and they just started doing that immediately. So for whatever reason, the red root floaters aren't liking the light enough to turn that deep red that they're known for. My emergent plants are absolutely loving life up here. I mean, I think that is so cool. What do you guys think? I mean, I pull a lot of those out and just chuck them, and they grow back even more robust within days. The Java Fern, this is the only tank where Java Fern does well. I beg your pardon on the reflection. I've tried a lot of things to mitigate that when filming this tank, and I'm afraid this is the best I can do. There you see a nice shot of the Chili rasboras, the Margaritas pencilfish. I think I only have 3 in there, and then the clown killifish. There's the dominant male, or the biggest one, with that rocket tail, which gives them their other name, the rocket killifish, rocket clown, or not rocket. It's either rocket or clown, your preference. I love that, just that image right there that we're looking at through all of the leaves, that purple, dark black, purple background from this cool wallpaper that I have in the fish room. It has fish on it. Saltwater fish, mind you, but fish nonetheless. I'm also thinking I'll do a heavy pruning of all the crypts up front, because ideally, you know, crypts in the back where I was talking about the Bucephalandra, that would be cool to have all of these in the back, and I guess I could do that, but I don't want to disrupt the substrate too much, especially when you have like a deep sand bed. There's a lot of activity going on below the surface, and if I were to pull a bunch of crypts out, it would release all sorts of stuff into the water column and maybe create, and probably create, a spike in ammonia and other problems. It's kind of best to leave that stuff alone after your tank matures, and you can tell it's starting to get all sorts of anaerobic or anoxic activity. I always get that stuff confused, but Father Fish, Alex over at Secret History of Your Aquariums, they talk about it all the time, and they're very wise about it, and I've learned so much. And one of the things is to be careful if you pull out a bunch of plants, because one downside is all that wonderful stuff that's helping your tank become a mature, balanced tank can become quickly upset if it's released into the water column. So pulling out all these crypts and putting them in back is great in theory, but in practice I'm not so sure. Now, one thing I could do is just snip most of the leaves. They'll grow back anyway, and put some other crypts back there, and I have plenty in the fish room, and just see what happens. But then I probably would just get, well, I would get a crypt intense aquascape in a month or so. So these are some things that I've been pondering. I am going to a swap, as I said, this weekend, the green water, as we call it, in Tinley Park, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. And I'd love to kind of have a plan, but if I don't, it's okay. If I see some great Bucephalandra, I might just buy it and try that out. What's the worst that can happen, right? I wanted to remove those stems anyway, and if I put it down there, I'm almost sure it'll do fine. If it doesn't add anything to the tank, it won't take anything away either. But again, do I clip these big leaves, or do you think they're kind of cool? All right, everybody. I'm gonna sign off, and I want you to know how much I appreciate your support and continuing patronage of this channel. I did cross 1,500 subs, which as my brother likes to say, might as well be 15 million for a guy like me, and I sure do appreciate that. And I actually, in theory, made a couple dollars from YouTube. I don't think I'll see that those $2 anytime soon, and you know as well as I do, the hole in the bucket is a hell of a lot bigger than the trickle coming in. It doesn't matter. I like making these films just to sort of show off and have some fun, just same way I love looking at your videos into the wee hours of the night. That's what it's all about. That's the fish tubes for you. Okay, keep your hands in the tank, and ciao for now.